Coach, you give us an opening statement, and we'll take a few questions.
All right, it's good to see you guys. Very disappointed with tonight, and it's a disappointed locker room, and just throughout camp, just talking about how many games are lost early in the season rather than won, and it's hard to talk about that because I don't want that to be taken in any way. Anything away from Texas State. I thought that the energy they played with and the penetration they got and the excitement that they played with was really strong, and they've got really great playmakers, and I thought they dialed stuff up and was able to hit things when they wanted them and got matchups and all of that. I say what I say because the third downs that we got in that first drive or the first couple drives were I think however many third downs we had, and then fourth downs we had, and opportunities to get off the field, and then however many to-goes we had, goal to goal, and we have penalties where the ball's got moved back or we give the ball away, and so there's just all these opportunities that we had that we did not capitalize on, and I take responsibility for that. So much of it is. We preach that, and we try to be in position to not beat ourselves, and I just felt that I failed to do that. And I failed to put the team in the best position to do that, and that's a hard take to have. But I think it's one that for sure showed up tonight. I thought the guys gave valiant efforts. I thought Blake Shapen, he hurt his MCL. He's going to get an MRI. And so we'll see kind of what becomes of that. Gave everything he had. We've struggled mightily up front. There was a combination of anxiety and, I hate to say, inexperience. I just don't want, as I say my words, I just don't want excuses, And so I don't mean it in that way. But we just had a hard time getting the ball off on go, And so I'm looking back at that, we're going to have to make some adjustments and what are things we could do better so that we could snap the ball. I think there was some stemming where they would, make a move call, but it wasn't all that. A lot of that was us, and a lot of that was me again, not getting them prepared for that. And I thought, we had too many free runners. There was a point where we had to take Blake off the field, and it was late in the game, and he had his brace on, and he was all wrapped up, and he wanted to play, but I just told him, Blake, we can't protect you right now. I know you want to be able to fight through this thing and you want to go, but we can't protect you right now. No one's going to feel right if there's a hit on you that's an unnecessary one. And so I'm way proud of him and his effort. I thought that Dominic Richardson really ran the ball hard. I thought that, there was people meeting him in the backfield, and he would do his best to get yardage. I thought that, Devin Lemire played really strong. He dislocated an elbow. We have to see what becomes of that. I thought the guys gave a lot. I think we have to do a better job of getting the details right and getting them in position to make more plays for us. With that, I'll take any questions that you guys have.
Dave, you mentioned some of the self-inflicted wounds and mistakes. Were you surprised with, especially, given the spring that y'all had, the camp that you had? Were you surprised with how this turned out?
Appreciate that. I thought, for example, one thing that has been a hindrance to us throughout camp has been receivers on the ball, off the ball, and especially when we're trying to go tempo. Now, that showed up tonight. Now, that has been a struggle throughout camp to get it to, we've had scrimmages and we have refs at the scrimmages, and they'll give us the feedback of, hey, we're not too many guys in the backfield. And, so throughout this week, it was the best that it's ever been. And so we feel like, man, we're over the hump, only to get under the lights tonight and to see very obviously that we're not. And so I think a lot of things were under that type of example of things that we're fighting and things that I think we're making progress in, but not enough.
Dave, you talked about a disappointed locker room. Knowing your emphasis on winning up front, was that maybe one of the more disappointing things that y'all didn't win that up front?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I thought, defensive-wise, I thought in the run game we had some pressure coming from the edge where we'd slant inside, and a lot of their run game was counter run game. So guys are blocking down, guys are pulling, and there's too many times that we have an edge blitzer off from the edge, and then as the line is slanting in, guys taking the easy way out and popping out, and now we got two outside, and now there's a gap inside. I think the very first play actually was that, and we struggled to get that fixed throughout. I think a lot of big eyes, a lot of guys, hey, I'm going to make this play, or were kind of the factors there. I think pass rush struggled. I think a lot of their throw game is quick. If he's up, I'm going to throw it down. If he's down, I'm going to throw it up, and the ball's out like that. And so we have to be able to cover him first to be able to get him to hold on to the ball, where the rush then becomes a factor. And so the times that we did do that, and we had an opportunity to rush, we failed to contain him. And it's one of probably the biggest disappointments in all of this, because I look back at Texas State and Albany where we struggled versus scrambling quarterbacks, and it's usually that first thing. And a lot of it is when we're in practice, we're not hitting quarterbacks, and so we want to be able to stay out of them. And then how does that mesh when it's a game and you need to tackle them? And so I thought we addressed it, and apparently we did not, and that's frustrating to see. I think offensive line wise, I knew that there was going to be some stumbling blocks, and so this is. I think what I told them was, hey, this is what you did. This ain't who you are. We're so much better than this. And so we have to use this to get better. And, I think there's a fair amount to get better for.
Dave, I know it's hard to ask this question at the same time. Is this acceptable? And this was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it's not acceptable. I talked to the team about how it's not. And so I think, I take responsibility for it. I thought that whether it was the wide eyes or the lack of details and just all those things were things that, I take a lot of pride in. And I was counting on those things being done, or that they were done, and to come and see that they're not is painful. And so we'll get better from it.
I guess on the offensive line, what are the steps that you need to take, or you want them to take, to kind of fix some of those wrongs? And
No, appreciate that. I think a lot of that comes with settling the heartbeat down, was in feeling comfortable, and I think too much of it was, hey, what's this look? What could be possible here? What could be done out of this look? Is this look a call? Is this look something I have to check on? And so I think getting it to where there's not 4 or 5 options in a head, and a lot of times these are not even options. These are things that are just going off. We would use the word anxiety, I guess, to describe this. And so to get it to where it's like, hey, I'm running off the football, and the first thing that comes in my gap, I'm gonna hook up, I'm gonna run them to the sideline. We've got to get it from point A to point B that way. And I think possibly simplifying and focusing on those types of details of, hey, this is where the pressure comes from. This is a look that there's no pressure, and getting confidence in that, I think, is a way important and a way key. I thought there was ghosts that were happening up front that didn't need to be. Okay, thank you guys.